Hello everybody, it's Karen from Bell Bridal Magazine. Today we are interviewing one of our, on the guest list, one of our digital community members, and that is Hannah from Botanical Cakes. Hi Hannah.
Hi Karen, how are you doing?
I'm absolutely fine, how are you?
Yes, really good, thank you. Excited to be here and thank you for asking me to do it.
No problem at all. It's been a really, really long week and everything is going back to normal for our wedding industry. So we're busier than normal, but I was completely taken aback when I saw your creations. And so we really wanted to invite you to do an interview with us because they are very, very different, Hannah. And
yeah.
They're just marvelous. Can you tell me a little bit about your background and how long you've been baking?
So I've always gravitated towards the kitchen from a very young age, and there's a photo of me from when I'm about 3 years old. We lived in Kansas at the time, and I'm there and making these sugar cookies, and they're just covered in sprinkles and all the naughty sugars that you don't want to eat, basically.
Yeah.
And since then, it's just sort of been a journey of confidence, creativity, and just experimenting in the kitchen. And I think my parents did regret me going in the kitchen and the mess it created at first, but they always got like a really nice cake at the end, and they liked that sort of aspect. And then from there, I've always been quite bohemian, and I love flowers and just joining the two together. And when I feel like all the vibes are sort of connected, it's sort of everything sort of flows really naturally, and I try and just let the natural flow take its progression. And you can have an idea, but you get going and you think, oh, actually this way might be much better. And it doesn't hurt to try and sort of experiment with it. So I think it's safe to say that from a young age I've always gravitated to the kitchen, basically. And I went to London for a year. I went to Le Cordon Bleu, and I did a patisserie diploma there.
Wow.
And then went to a couple of Michelin star restaurants for a few years and worked in the patisserie kitchens, basically making anything from ice creams, soufflés, tartans, your classic lemon tarts with meringues on them. And then from there, I sort of started up my own business. I only started that within the last year, which is not a great timing with COVID, but it's just the way things planned out. So, yeah.
I can see as well your cakes take on a natural journey. I was particularly taken with the vase of dried flowers, and I couldn't stop looking at it, to be honest. Haven't seen anything like it, and it's so progressive. So it was evident to me as soon as I looked at your work that there was very much an artist in there somewhere. And I mean, is your passion around the bohemian theme, or tell me a little bit about, is what you craft based on your love of plants, hence the name? Is there a strong influence there?
So coming up with the name Botanical Cakes actually took quite a long time. Originally I was sort of thinking completely off the aspect and sort of Cakes by Hannah, or Helen's Cakes or something like that, and tying my name into it all. And then I was just sat in the garden one day and I was just looking at all the plants, and I started thinking, nearly all the ingredients you put into a cake are botanical. So even the cows, when they eat the grass, they're producing the milk. They have a background being the botanical with the grass and the wheat they eat, and the chickens with the grain. And then, your vanilla pods, and of course your cocoa pods, which everyone loves, for the chocolate. And it just made sense. The combination of my love for plants and where I'm happiest is with flowers and, being one with nature, I suppose, combined with cakes.
Yes. And your cakes are really organic in the way they look. The whole thing is a huge organic process, isn't it, really?
Exactly. I'm quite environmentally conscious, so I try and keep things as environmentally friendly as possible, even just with my normal life and my work life. That's really important to me, not just for my generation, but the future generations, because that's going to be their life, basically.
And that's absolutely lovely, to be honest. It's really refreshing and lovely to hear, but you can see that through your work. So we've seen your cakes, we know that what you do is really different. and I have to say, I believe very now as well. as far as trends go. Like I said, I just lit up when I saw your work. I really did. What's new for 22 for you? As well as obviously, a bride can come to you, bridegroom couple can come to you and with an idea, and you can take it from there.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's the other aspects, not just wedding cakes, where, you know, your portfolio and what's new for 21, 22. Tell us a little bit about that.
So first of all, if a couple wants to come to me and they've got an idea of what they want, I'll happily go with it. It's their day, it's their wedding, you know, it's their dream cake, it's what they want, and that's absolutely fine. And I'll you know, in the meeting, I like to have a consultation with them all so I can get a vibe for how they want things. And it's okay sending a few photos over, but I may think, oh, actually, this might be a better idea. You know, these are your ideas, but have you thought about this aspect and tying in all of this as well? And I'll just go with the flow. And if they don't like it, they don't like it. But I'd really like to incorporate something they can keep as a keepsake for afterwards. So when they look at it, they can go, that's from our day, you know, that, you know, everyone saw that cake, that's a big memory of it. So whether that be like, I like the idea of using air plants. So obviously air plants haven't got any roots and they're literally just a plant that's sat in the air. So if you, I don't know, there's some driftwood that you potentially find on your honeymoon, or gorgeous seashell or something, you could have the air plant sat in it and in your bathroom, and it's something you can look at and go, actually, you know, that's from our day, and you know, it can bring a smile to your face. Or with the dried flowers, you can get them framed afterwards and have them in your hallway and something you walk past all the time, which I think might be quite a nice idea. I do want to go down the sugar flower work. That's something I really want to experiment with, is making all my own flowers.
So although essentially your look has a bohemian kind of influence, you are absolutely open to all kind of themes and styles and personalities of cakes.
Yes.
And will take on, you know, any kind of creative aspect when it comes to, from sugarcraft right through to your masterpieces there. You are diverse.
Yes, definitely diverse. And if I feel like I'll be very honest with the clients. And if there's something I feel I won't be able to do properly for them, I'll either suggest something else that's more my style, or something that will look better coming from me, or potentially say, have you thought about this person instead? Because I would not want to give them a cake that would be half as good if they asked me to do it, if that makes sense.
To be honest, I think there's going to be enough out there for people who look at your work and go, wow, Jesus. I think that's probably going to happen. Favourite flavours? Tell me about your flavours, because I'm expecting, I mean, you know, tell me about how your flavours and your combinations and what you do, Hannah.
I quite like keeping flavours to seasonal, to season. So over the Christmas period, one of the, like autumn Christmas period, one of the favourites was chocolate, orange and cardamom. And the cardamom really complements with the chocolate, so it takes away the sweetness of it all, and it works really nicely. Whereas in the summertime, I much more gravitate towards maybe something like coconut, lime and some passion fruit. So it's very refreshing. So on my menu, I'll have things broken down into each season. But if there's if you want like a nice chocolate cake and it's summertime, I'm not going to say no. Everyone likes their chocolate cake. Is there like a double chocolate and triple nut? I really like the contrast of all the nutty aspect, which can be quite refreshing. But then you've got like two types of chocolate, so you can have like a nice rich dark chocolate with a white chocolate mixed in, and some hazelnuts, almonds and some coconut, just all complementing each other.
I would say that your flavours are work very well as a parallel to the texture of your work. It's all about texture for you, isn't it, really? Would you agree?
I think so. I'm not a huge fan of things like a Victoria sponge, and I've always found that if something's a bit more quirky and a bit more wacky, I gravitate towards that a lot easier, and that's just how I flow. I do like different textures of food, and I think it's quite nice, especially for the palate, when you're eating something, to go, oh, there's a bit of a crunch there, or that's slightly smoother, so maybe like a mousse or a curd throughout the cake, like in the centre of it all. but I also think it's really important to think of the time of the year. So you wouldn't want a really heavy cake in the summertime. And, mousse would be much lighter, but there's other aspects as well. Maybe you want a smaller cake and you could have like cake pops on the side, or like some nice cinnamon buns. I'm wanting to go down like the more vegan way as well. So like the cinnamon buns are all vegan that I make, and they're actually really refreshing. You can't tell that they're vegan because you take out the butter and the eggs and you replace them with the right substitution for it. And I think that there's so many options out there. You shouldn't limit yourself to just.
So you can do if somebody asked you for a vegan dessert table, that would be joyous for you, wouldn't it? With maybe a small cake as a centerpiece. The world is.
I would love the variety.
Yeah.
And I think it's really nice to have a whole table and giving your guests different options as well. I think is a really nice thing to do. But there's if you want a traditional cake, we can do a traditional cake, or we can do like a whole dessert table. And if there's something, I don't know, maybe from your first date that you want to bring back to the wedding day, or something that like your go-to dessert together, it's a Friday night, you're having some time together, you're reminiscing on the past and thinking about the future, and you go, oh, should we have, I don't know, like a passion fruit and cava tart with, like some nice meringues on them, and then like some crystallized flowers, which would be quite nice, like on a kind of like a boat tart. So that makes sense. So
I just think people should just let you run. For me, you're practically perfect in every way.
Oh, thank you.
The ideas are just amazing, and I'm sure a lot of our couples who are just watching this will know that you're the one to go to, and you have your own style, and I think it's marvelous, and I think you should stay with your style, stay exactly where you are. Tell me about that's how I deliver. Where can we how far would you deliver what you do there, Hannah? Sorry if I've interrupted you there, but do go on.
No, that's okay. So firstly, I'll just say always stay true to yourself. And I'm a big believer of that. It's taken me a while to get to that, but I'm now seeing where I am and where I was in the past. It's just stay true to yourself. And, if your stomach is telling you no or yes, just listen to it. Because it does kind of know what's going on. It's like an in tune, I feel. But where I deliver a 50-55 mile radius from Barnard's Castle. And if you're going to say 60, that I wouldn't be it wouldn't be out of the question. But I think about a 50-55 mile radius.
So for 60, you would throw on your flower crown and go, Hannah?
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't bake with it on, but definitely if I was going out.
And that's an idea for the flowers on your bakes to be kept and personalised into even a headpiece. I mean, there's endless opportunities with what you have and with the scope. For me personally, the vase of flowers cake is just, I just want it for my home to look at forever. I think it's brilliant. I think you're brilliant. And this has been, we have been talking with Botanical Cakes, Hannah, and this has been an on the guest list interview for Bell Bridal. It has been an absolute honour to speak to you today, Hannah. We'll be doing a lot more with you coming in the next few months. But for now, I shall let you get on with your Friday, and we shall speak to you soon.
Thank you so much for asking me, and I've really enjoyed talking to you, Karen.
I think you're marvellous.
Thank you.
Marvellous. And I would like that cake with the flowers in, please.
That's absolutely fine.
Thank you very much, Hannah. I shall speak to you soon. We'll catch up with you soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.